What's up, world? This is Creator with Gadget Class. Today we're doing a review of the Samsung Galaxy S4 Active. It is the active version of the Samsung Galaxy S4. This is Samsung's answer to a more rugged, dustproof and waterproof phone. It carries an IP67 rating, and that's basically just a fancy way of classifying phones for their dustproofness and waterproofness. The 6 stands for the dustproofing. 6 is actually the highest number a phone can receive. The 7 is the waterproofing. 7 is the second highest rating a phone can receive. And a 7 rating means it can withstand being submerged underwater up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. I've seen all kinds of mixed reviews online, people that have done a simple test with their phone, making sure all their seals and ports were intact, and their phone immediately stopped working. And there's also just as many people saying they use their phone in the shower every day, or they take pictures underwater all the time without any problems. So it's your phone. If you got insurance and you want to get it wet, that's fine. Personally, I would consider it more of a water resistance. You're going to be protected from using it in the rain, using it with wet hands, the occasional toilet drop, that sort of thing. I'm not sure I would ever actually feel comfortable fully submerging it and taking a picture with it. Now, to accomplish this waterproofing, they have put a waterproof headphone jack in, so you don't have to worry about covering that up with a little rubber flap. The USB port, however, it does have a little rubber boot that covers up and seals the USB port from water. So whenever you put that back on, you want to make sure it's clean and dry and fully seated to maintain your 7 water rating there. Also on the back here, what they've done is integrate a silicone seal on the back cover that mates up with a nice smooth flat surface here on the phone. So when you go to put your cover back on, you want to make sure that all the snaps engage and that both surfaces are clean and dry and smooth. There's one snap right underneath the at&t logo. You want to make sure you press that in, and as long as your snaps are good and intact and snapped, you should maintain your waterproof rating there. Now, what's the difference between the S4 Active and the standard S4? Main difference is going to be your size and design factor. The S4 Active is a little bit heavier. It weighs in at about 154 grams compared to the 130 of the S4. It's slightly thicker and slightly larger. That could be a good thing and a bad thing. A lot of the S series or Galaxy S phones, they tend to be kind of slim and slick and lightweight. So if you do a lot of active and rugged things, sometimes having a more substantial phone that you can really hold on to can be a good thing. They do have these rubber bumpers on the top and the bottom. In my opinion, they're more for style than anything. They do give it some grip, but in terms of actually adding to the durability, as you can see, they come to the same level as the bezel. So if you drop it, you're just as likely to hit the bezel as you are that little rubber boot. And I actually did that before I got a case on mine. I dropped it, and you can see right there in the corner, I got a little crack. Does not affect the phone at all, but it's kind of a disappointment. You buy the active phone, you want it to be more durable, and the case is not really more durable. For that reason, I would recommend using it with some sort of case. I like these cheap $2.50 TPU cases you get off eBay. I will be doing a full TPU case review on the S4 Active here pretty soon. I'm waiting to get a bunch of TPU cases in, so stay tuned for a video on that. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and you'll get notified as soon as that's up. I also do have a tempered glass screen protector on my phone here, and I do have a video up showing that and explaining all the pros and cons of tempered glass as well. So be sure to like my video and subscribe and check out my other videos for the full tempered glass skinny. So if you use it with a case and a tempered glass screen protector, you're pretty solid there. You know, you're going to be pretty well protected from wet environments, dusty environments, and knocks, scratches, dings, and drops. Going into more differences between the S4 and the active S4, both phones have a 5-inch screen. However, the active has a TFT screen. It's actually an FHD TFT screen as compared to the AMO LED of the other Galaxy-based phones. This is a downside to me because I notice a slight lack of clarity. When you have the phone in auto brightness mode, you have almost like a a muted, cloudy look to the phone. It's not really noticeable, especially if you turn the brightness up, but at low brightness levels, it doesn't have that warmth and that glow of the AMO LED screen. Now, why did they go with the TFT screen? I believe part of the reason was so that you can use it with gloved fingers. You're supposed to be, the screen is supposed to be more sensitive, so you can use a gloved hand or a wet or dirty hand to press the buttons on the screen. And it also has to do with the ruggedness and the waterproofness. I guess they just couldn't pull it off with an AMO LED screen. The other big drawback that I see is the camera. It has an 8 megapixel camera as compared to the 13 megapixel of the S4 normal version. Now, this isn't a big deal for most people. 8 megapixels is a pretty big picture. It's just nice to have that extra megapixels if you want to take those big shots of the Grand Canyon, or you want to get that big, huge panorama photo. But that being said, you get plenty big photos with an 8 megapixel camera. The camera does feature an aqua mode for taking pictures underwater, and basically in aqua mode you're going to be using the volume rocker as the picture taking button, because the touchscreen will not function underwater. One thing I have noticed with when you're taking pictures with the S4 active as compared to pretty much all the other S4 phones is the pictures will look slightly dark when you first take them and when you're reviewing them, and you're wondering what's wrong with your camera, and then you go and you turn your brightness up on your phone, and then the pictures look normal. So whereas with my S2 and my other S-series phones, I've been able to go with auto brightness most of the time with the AMO LED screen, I'm finding with the S4 active I'm usually up at a higher brightness level than I would like to be, and I don't use the auto as much because pictures look washed out and the screen kind of has a white haze to it. So as long as you're up on the brightness, it's not that noticeable. The screen itself is just as snappy that you don't notice any difference in responsiveness, or playing HD videos, you don't notice any difference there. So both phones do have the quad-core Snapdragon processor. Pretty good, snappy processor. So you're getting the same Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 APQ 8064T. It's a pretty snappy and speedy processor. You're not going to feel any slowness there. This is the at&t version, the SGH-i537. It also goes under the i9295 as the general active product name. Both phones do have the 4.22 Jelly Bean software and the Samsung TouchWiz interface. There's your processor there. The front-facing camera on both phones is actually 2 megapixels, so you're not losing anything there. And as far as other differences, both are fully HD. Both screens are full HD. Both screens feature a Gorilla Glass 2 format. Both have the same battery, both have the same exact 2600 milliamp battery. However, the S4 Active does claim higher drain life or drain rates. That's because the screen takes different power, and especially since I'm running it at a higher brightness most of the time, and the subtle differences in hardware are going to create more of a power drain. Other than that, it's a great phone all around. You've got hardware buttons down here instead of the hardware home button and 2 soft keys like you have on the S4. They did that, I think, partially for waterproofing and partially for durability and ruggedness. They figure if you're like pressing it with a glove or something, you want that tactile button. I do have raised sticker buttons on there to go with my tempered glass screen. So the stock buttons don't look white and black like that. They're actually just like a textured black-gray color. That being said, let's go into some of the advanced features of the S4 series. Got some new features that kind of make it a unique and desirable phone. Check out all those options there. You got Smart Scroll, which actually watches your face and your eyes to automatically scroll and pause a website. You got Smart Pause, that's to automatically start and stop videos. Smart Stay, similar functions there. I haven't quite gotten into that. Driving mode, that's standard. Air Gesture, that's where you wave your hand across the phone to scroll web pages. Air View. Air View is where you just hover your finger over the screen and it'll pop up information like on websites and that sort of thing. NFC to transfer files and information between phones. That is, while we're talking about it, that is another big downside of the S4 Active. In order to maintain this waterproofing and also integrate wireless charging and the NFC functions, you need a really thin and really styled and specific receiver tag. And Samsung had been working on this receiver tag for this phone up until just recently, and they have just recently announced that they are not going to continue development and they're not going to be putting it out. And basically what's happening is anything that you stick on there and you puts a wireless charging tag on there makes the back stick out just enough so that silicone seal doesn't maintain its seal against the smooth mating surface there. And that's a pretty big disappointment. You've got people going with the touch-tone charging solution. That's the charging solution, the palm-based charging solution. They'll buy a back from a Palm Pre, peel off the touchstone receiver and magnets, stick it onto the S4 Active phone, and wire leads up here to the corner, and those leads will end up hitting those contacts there. Now, touchstone is different than the standard QI charging standard that most phones are coming out with now. But people have had success using wireless charging with touchstone and maintaining the waterproofing. Other than that, you can try a standard S4 Active receiver tag. There's a white one that just comes straight down and then has a big square thing. That one I've heard works if you move it down a little bit and kind of like shave off the stickers and get it as flat as possible, and then extend the leads out to there. There was a company, Waikiki. They started like a Kickstarter program to get people to fund them to make this special stylized design to get in there, and it actually had wireless and NFC built into one thing, and it came and wrapped around all this perfectly and had a nice square looking rectangular charging receiver there, and it was perfect. They actually got to the point where they were about to start shipping out units, and Samsung came after them because Samsung decided they weren't going to go pursue it. They weren't going to have anyone else pursue it either. This solution that the company came up with looked really good. It looked really solid. It was thin enough. It was going to do a pretty good job maintaining waterproofness. and Samsung threatened them with lawsuits, and I'm sure paid them off because Samsung doesn't want all kinds of warranty claims because people got their phone wet, and all they would have to do is pull off the other company's charging tag, say that they were using it with a normal back, and claim a warranty claim on it. But I think that's messed up. I use prepaid services, so I buy my phones outright. I want that option, and I'm strongly going to encourage everyone else to, kind of get some of those Chinese companies to take that same basic design and start flooding the market on eBay with it, because there's plenty of people that would use it anyways, regardless of warranty. I could give a crap about warranty, and I just want the wireless charging capability, especially since you're constantly taking that rubber flap off and on all the time to charge it. I would much rather just stick it on a wireless charging thing or a wireless charging mount in my car and be good. And I paid for my phone outright, so I don't really care. So basically, those are the slight dimness of the screen, the lack of wireless charging, and the slightly reduced camera resolution. Those are the three drawbacks. Everything else I love about it. I love that it's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, and slightly different. Getting back into the options, there's a bit of a tangent there. The rest of the stuff is pretty standard. S-beam for beaming information, multi-window screen mirroring. That's a feature where you can actually display video across multiple phones. It's also used for, I guess that's the all-share thing, but you can, there is a feature where you can have one, like say a video playing on multiple screens, and power saving, blocking mode, and all the standard features there. One kind of nifty feature that you find Samsung has brought back, if you look right there, that's actually an infrared transmitter. And those gadget geeks out there like myself that used to have Windows mobile-based phones, you remember that we used to be able to control every TV and device in the house with our Windows mobile phones. And the feature has since kind of died out. But luckily Samsung saw potential there, and they actually brought it back, and they have integrated it with a solution that they call Watch On, which basically integrates a TV remote with kind of like a TV guide setup. So you tell it what kind of TV service you have in your region and tell it which devices you want to control, and basically bam, it comes up. It'll automatically, like I click on something there, it'll automatically tune my TV and my DirecTV receiver to that channel to watch whatever's going on. It even tells you the progress and everything. So it's kind of neat. I'm not sure I'm totally sold on that part of it, the TV guide aspect of it. I haven't played around with it enough to give you a go one way or another, but the remote aspect of it is something I'm glad they brought back. And it's got a pretty neat feature. It can turn on automatically once you enter your home Wi-Fi region. So as soon as I connect to my local access point, it automatically puts the remote control functions on my lock screen. So I walk in my door, I'm connected to my Wi-Fi, and I can turn on my TV just by turning on my phone. Pretty neat stuff there. So it's not limited to just that. You've got your full remote features. So you click that button there, and you've got your Samsung Smart Hub, all your different directional arrows. Basically have full control of your TV with your phone using the infrared transmitter. Pretty cool, and you can control pretty much any device you want there. So that's a big plus, and I'm sure there's plenty of third-party developers that have either already or are coming out with just straight universal remote apps, and you can do some pretty neat stuff with the universal remote app. Kind of like replacing your fancy Logitech, $150 remote. You can do all that with your phone easily now. So that's a pretty good feature. That is on both the S4 and the S4 Active, and even the Note 3. Beyond that, you know, pretty much looking at an S4 phone. Pretty solid phone all around. Pretty touchy, pretty responsive. Pretty great phone all around, and I would give it a good thumbs up, especially if you do any kind of a lot of outdoor activities where you might like be walking through a creek, you might be walking in the rain, you do hardware and mechanical work like I do. I love the active capability of the phone. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe. If you're looking for a new phone setup, like rooting and that sort of thing, I've got a video on that on YouTube as well, so be sure to check out my other videos. And that'll do it for this edition of Gadget Class. This is Creator. Out.